Welcome to Part of the Solution, because what the world really needed was another podcast, except for this one actually cuts through the noise. Hi, I'm Natalie, your coach, speaker, truth teller, and your favorite no BS friend. Around here, we're talking health, healing, habits, hormones, and how to finally grow a mindset that gets out of your own way. There's no filters, just real conversations that might actually change your life. Welcome back to Part of the Solution podcast. Today in the studio, I have my friend Alycia Anderson. She is a wonderful human, first off. She's a global speaker. She's a disability advocate. She has her own podcast, and she's just a champion in life. So, Alycia, welcome to the show. And for people who don't know you, tell them exactly why they should know you.
First of all, thank you for having me on your show. I'm so excited about it. We've been talking about it, it feels like forever. So we started off the year checking this off the box and committing and doing it. So I'm really excited to be on your show. I love that our worlds have collided the way that they have. I know how much my sister loves you. So it's just great to share some space. I'm Alycia Anderson. I'm a global motivational speaker. I work with organizations around the world on initiatives and accessibility programs for workplace to support employees with disabilities to have opportunities to reach their career goals. I've had the amazing opportunity to partner with unbelievable brands at this point, from Victoria's Secret to Netflix to Microsoft, you name it. I've been on incredible stages. And yeah, so I am, I'm an entrepreneur. I've got a podcast called Pushing Forward with Alycia, and I'm really just trying to, I guess, open up a conversation that makes people sometimes uncomfortable about disability and it being part of your identity. And instead of kind of hiding it, maybe lifting it up into the universe and elevating it as something that is pretty powerful to kind of enhance your life and find new opportunities. And yeah, my husband and I are running our business and we're having a lot of fun with it, making some impact along the way for sure, and just enjoying conversations like this. So I'm excited to meet some new people with your community that's following the show too.
Absolutely. And let's just jump right in. Oh, and I forgot to mention, guys, she's a TEDx speaker too. So, we got the real VIP here. And yes, Alycia, we've been trying to do this forever. I initially wanted to do it in person just because I love the in-person, but when you're dealing with somebody so sought after, it's hard.
Oh gosh.
I'm kidding. Well, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
I love everything you do. I follow you closely online. I am always cheerleading for you. Yes, your sister is amazing. I feel lucky to have met somebody like her, and then it's introduced me, like the ripple effect of meeting somebody who you speak the same language with, like at first we didn't, we were just there at like our kids' school or soccer or, whatever. And then little trickles of things in conversations, like kind of some woo-woo stuff. And I was like, ooh, I think she's on my page. And then we just started talking like a little bit of motivational, a little bit of manifesting. And then it quickly, we just were like business and this and that. And I have this idea. And then I found you, and obviously you guys are twins. So it was awesome. It was a great connection. Have you and your sister, obviously being twins, you have that connection. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Gosh, my sister is one of the most important people that is in my life. She's been a cheerleader for me before I knew how to cheer for myself. I guess to paint a little bit of a picture of kind of our relationship for your audience, my sister and I are identical twins. I am a wheelchair user, so my lived experience is living my life from a wheelchair, and my sister does not have a disability, but we are identical. So one egg split in two. And when we were born, my parents didn't know they were having twins. They didn't know one was going to have a pretty significant disability. And back when I was born, when babies were born with pretty severe disabilities like I have, and the general thought was, low quality of life. She's not going to make it, things like that. And my parents really had to advocate for my space in the world from day one. Like, don't institutionalize her, like, we want to give her a shot. And because they had twins, like, surprise, no clue, they didn't know what to do other than kind of advocate for each of us to have the same thing, like same opportunities, same lived experience as close as possible. And my sister and I really love each other. And my platform is called the Heart of Inclusion, and that's one of my signature keynotes. And it stems from growing up with my twin, and that though we have very different abilities from a physical level, I have lived my life from a wheelchair, she doesn't. We never ever It was never an option to leave the other one behind, because we grew up with this mentality of like, adapt, figure it out. So when she would jump rope, I would find a way to jump rope in my wheelchair. When I would go play wheelchair tennis, she would be the only kid playing, on her feet. And so we've always been there to kind of support each other, chasing around the other half. She chases around the other disabled half of her, one cell splitting into two, and I chase after the able-bodied half. And there's a beautiful thing that happens in life when you love someone and you're not willing to leave them behind. You find paths that you might not otherwise see or experience from some other person's lived experience. And so that's been the foundation of growing up. And when I was young, I didn't love being the only one in school in a wheelchair. I didn't love this experience. Um, but I always felt safe because she was always there. She
Yeah.
always was the one to use her voice and find spaces for me when I was too embarrassed or didn't want to speak up or didn't want to be that person. And over time, it's just been she's been my greatest asset, like my cheerleader that is she's been my guidepost. I've watched her do something and I go, I want to do that too, and find a way. And we really supported each other in the successes that we've each found in life. And I honestly, I don't know where I would be without her. Like, I was speaking at the end of last year, and an audience member raised their hand when I was done, because they're always like, is Regina backstage? Like, is she here? And
Shout out to Regina.
somebody raised their hand. They're like, where do you think you'd be without your sister? And I go, I don't know. Like, I actually don't know.
Yeah.
So, she's really, really important. And she's just such an incredible person. Powerful, smart, beautiful, strong, intelligent, just really
Yeah,
amazing.
she's a powerhouse and everything comes from the heart with her.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing not genuine about her. She's
Yeah.
just such a sweet soul, and what a beautiful gift that both of you guys have each other, but that to have a relationship where somebody means that fucking much to you and has done so
Yeah.
much is, I don't think all of us get that opportunity.
I
Do you
know.
think this is just a twin thing? Like, do you think every twin feels the same? Or, I feel like you guys have a special circumstance.
I think we do. I think it's a little bit of both. I think there's a major codependence that goes on with twins if you're and not every set of twins is as close as we are, but they're out there. But yeah, we've gone through a lot. It's not just the disability. Like, our mom passed away when we were 7 from leukemia. Like, we've dealt with a lot of adversity, and we've been a team through it all. So we haven't ever had to navigate those things alone. Like, I watch my niece Ella or my other nieces and nephews, and I don't know if you think about this with your kids, but like, they go to school by themselves and they have to like go into class and make friends alone. We never had to do that. Like, that looks so scary to me. So it's such a gift to be born with your best friend, outside of the
Yeah.
disability, like, just to be able to not ever be alone, and
Yeah.
to really support each other. So it truly is the greatest gift of my life, honestly. It's been amazing.
That's so wonderful. I
Yeah.
can guarantee when she listens to this, she's going to be like, stop it, Alycia.
Yeah, we love each other so
Ugh.
much. And like you said, she does have the most beautiful heart, really, out of anybody that I know. And like, that's what people used to say about our mom, how sweet she was and beautiful she was, and how she was always like dressed like in cute outfits. And like, I just feel like my sister Regina embodies, my mom lives on through her heart and her
Mm-hmm.
soul and her style and her essence. And, I love that about her. So,
Yeah. Yeah. She's a champion for sure. And yeah, like I said, and I wouldn't, that comes from my heart. Like she's a one of a kind,
yeah.
like I go to school, I meet all the moms, we've made friends, we play games, our kids practice together. And there's the hi, how are you? What's up? Da, 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 da. With her, it completely shifted into this much deeper conversation where I was like, ooh, I want to be your friend, like your friend.
Oh, yeah.
Like, let's hang out. And, it just was more than that surface level with her. And it just immediately drew me into her. And the first time I had seen you, obviously, I was like, what the fuck happened to Regina? Like,
Oh, that's so funny.
oh my God. And then realized quickly, like, wait, that's not Regina. Like I didn't have any idea. I just was like, oh my gosh, like whoa, 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 somebody tell me what's up. And then quickly learned that you're Ella's aunt. And but
Yeah.
it, you guys are very identical. So talk to me about the beginning of this empowerment journey for you? Like when obviously like you were going your whole life and fighting your whole life but when were you like knew you were ready to stand out? When did you know like you wanted to help others? Was this something always in you or did this hit at a certain age or time?
Yeah, that's a good question. Navigating an entire like 50 years of life where you really are trying to, at first my advocacy was for me. Like I want to be in jazzercise. I want to be in dance class. I want to go to outdoor camp. I want to and sometimes I was allowed and sometimes I was not, and I've lived a life of no being the okay answer and having to fight for things. And as you navigate those challenges in life, people are watching, whether you like it or not, whether you realize it or not. You may
Yeah.
never have a conversation with them, but there's a lot of impact that you can give the world just by showing up. And that's not something that I fully recognized until much later in life. But at first, for me, like my empowerment advocacy was me just wanting to be able to experience the same things that other people did and experience the things that I chose, not what the world said are possible for you. And over time, like as I was growing up, I always kind of felt like I needed to share. Like I would say often, like I feel like I'm living my life on a stage. Like people watch me, they absorb what I do, whether I'm like pushing a shopping cart at the grocery store, getting in and out of my car, up on, stages speaking, whatever it might be. And as I got older and I started navigating my degrees and, my career and really becoming more accepting of my own self, because being an empowered woman that I am today, like that did not happen overnight.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of hiding, a lot of masking, a lot of it's okay, I got it, no worries, it's fine. No, this isn't accessible, but I'll figure it out. And a lot of embarrassment and a lot of discomfort comes in those moments. But that's where growth happens too. Like that's where you chip away at your power and go, you know what? It actually isn't okay that I can't go to the bathroom here. I'm not going to stay, because it's not accessible or whatever. So over time, when I started to speak up about these things at work or in given situations, it just gave me an opportunity to see how it helps other people. And I had a really successful career in startup technology. I took two companies from startup to sold for hundreds of millions of dollars, like worked on great teams, had a very successful career. And in that opportunities to speak and at work, like in my industry, like, hey, there's nobody here with a disability. Will you talk about your experience? And at that time, I was probably tokenizing a little bit and whatever, but I would share my story and I would see some real impact. And then somebody else would raise their hand and go, oh, I'm neurodiverse. I have mental health challenges. I have cancer. There's so many disabilities that it's one in four of us. It's a very common ground, not the thing that separates us. And so I found a space for me to start to dabble in speaking. And then, like shifts started to happen in our society in 2020, and diversity programs started to blow up in the workplace at astronomical rates. Disability was not included in that. I was kind of already creating this platform, not really even intentionally, it was just kind of giving back. And I'm very competitive, and I just was like, I think I have a thing here. I'm going to quit my job. And I left a very successful position to start my business. And, I hit the ground running and just, I'm competitive. So I wanted to see like, what companies can I sell? Where can I go? What impact can I make? And, like the flashy stuff is the Victoria's Secrets and the logos like that. But there's also, and the more important things are, the nonprofits and the schools and the children and the teachers. And, I was just on Instagram a couple days ago. I had somebody send me a message from a university in the United Arabic Emirates. I hope I'm saying that right. And at a university there. And she said that her teacher just showed my TEDx talk as a piece of curriculum in their master's program for their early childhood development. This is like the fourth or fifth university that I've heard shares my TEDx talk every semester with their students to teach them about ableism and disability inclusion and bias and all those things in hopes to like shed a new light on the next educators or the next people that are going to be teaching our future. And that's my highest compliment. Like, that's why I'm doing this work. Like, if I could share a story about me and my life, or a lesson or a theme or something that we might not have heard about, like ableism, and it shifts the perspective, even in the tiniest, that's why I'm doing this. So it makes it easier for the next disabled person. And it doesn't mean it's the girl in the wheelchair. It could be any type of disability, but it gives them just that little extra edge to not be afraid to go after the job you want or have the career you want, or, like date who you want or create friendships with, there's just so many layers. So yeah, it's been breadcrumbs through my life to get where I am, to be brave enough to go, you know what, I'm going to quit my job and do this thing because I know it's what I'm meant to do. I absolutely know that I'm doing the work that I meant to do. So, it's been a lifelong to actually get there.
That's such an incredible story and such an incredible journey. And I feel like it's so many entrepreneurs' journey. Like we quit our jobs. We go full into something with this messy action, and we don't know how it's going to happen, but we know it's going to happen. And just that trust it's such a high. It's like the wind. You can't see it, but you can feel it, and it's such a incredible feeling to have, and like this electricity inside. When was your first like, holy shit moment? Like, oh my God, this is working, or I'm making an impact, or like that just flipped your stomach up or made you giggle or call your sister immediately and be like, oh my God, like this is huge.
There's a couple bookings that I've had that, like, one of my biggest like companies that I booked when I was just coming out of the gate was Abercrombie and Fitch, and they were a strategic partner. We partnered on several projects, and so when I started to book companies like that, I was in the Netflix studio last year speaking to their teams. That was a big one. The end of last year, I spoke at Uber. Like, that was a bucket list for me for a lot of reasons. Like, they were a company that I've really been wanting to speak at for specific reasons. Like Uber, there's a lot of companies that are difficult for wheelchair users to actually use. Uber and ride shares specifically, it's not just Uber, it's like that company type in general. Once they see my wheelchair, they drive by. Like, they don't pick me up a lot of times. Like, I get stranded. So there's certain companies that I go after to literally have an impact, like Southwest Airlines, like certain things that are difficult for accessibility. But
yeah, you need a protocol.
Totally. So Well, like rideshare companies, like they need better training on, like when you see somebody with a wheelchair, you don't drive by because you don't know how to like they look at me. I'll give you an example. I was in Arizona at last year for my sister's graduation, and we ordered an Uber. Regina was there. My other sister was there. My stepmom was there. The Uber pulls up and they see me and he rolls down his window and goes, "No wheelchair, no wheelchair, no wheelchair, no," and keeps driving. That has happened to me over and over and over and
Oh
over
my
again.
God. I would
And that
never even think that, but obviously my mind doesn't think
that
to think
is
those things, you know?
that's ableism. And it's
Wow.
discrimination, and it's putting bias on. Number one, I can't help you, your wheelchair's gonna damage my car, there's too much effort. And that's how disabled consumers are treated often in different scenarios, and these are the things that I'm advocating for today in my business. Like,
Also,
it
just general etiquette and
yeah,
empathy, like, sorry, I had no idea. I can't offer you a ride, but let me just general, like, morals and values just to
but they
drive by.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff happens a lot. And it's the disability specifically has a lot of, unknowns and assumptions that are placed on it. And the reality is wheelchairs come apart. We are strong. We can handle our own transfers. Like that's a conversation that needs to happen, not an assumption and a blatant discrimination act, And often, a lot of companies don't look at accessibility as an opportunity to have revenue. Like, it's innovative to be accessible. Siri, texting, closed caption, all these things that we all use, those were developed for accessibility, for blind people, for people that have hearing impairments, like all kinds of innovations. And so there's a lot of education that needs to be taught about disability and the value of it, not these assumptions and unknowns that are oftentimes false, that are placed on humans that are literally consumers and trying to navigate life. So the conversation is huge. And anyway, so, like working with companies that I can make an impact and go, like you're closing out 1 in 4 consumers. Like, people with disabilities are most of the time, they're invisible. They're knocking on your door, they're your employees, they're sitting there hiding, because they're afraid to tell you because they think that you're not gonna get the raise, you're not gonna get hired, all the things. So,
Yeah.
the impact there from, like, a corporate standpoint is a big deal. But
So you're part of the movement. You're paving the way. You're part of the conversation, like a
I
major
am
part of the conversation
I am part of
to
the
say
movement.
like, "Hey, we fucking matter and it's not that hard. Here's what you have to do. Here's my thoughts, my ideas, my ideology on how to incorporate this into your life, your business, the world."
Yeah. Like it is said that if companies adopt accessibility initiatives within their organizations, it is the next $1 trillion economy. It creates innovations that when you think outside of the box, outside of the able-bodied lived experience of like, oh, we're going to develop this one thing or create this product to work only for people who are perfectly like able-bodied, which is not a realistic path because we all age. Like if you're lucky enough to age, you're going to be disabled. Your hips go out, this happens, broke, like all things happen. Disability is part of being alive, like period. Like our bodies do not stay perfect. They just don't. And if you are an organization and you're building out accessibility initiatives like an Apple or a Microsoft that like layers it in to their like companies, you innovate things that everybody uses because it's a path of least resistance to think about making things accessible for all abilities, not just able-bodied, you know? And
Mhm.
so it's the difference, it's the difference of, well, if we put a ramp, everybody can get up, or if there's steps, then we're eliminating a huge consumer base so it's a different mindset and there's a lot of opportunity in it. So I've done a lot of really and like amazing projects with like last year, I worked with Target on an adaptive puffer jacket that had accessible features all over it. It was universal, so for people who are able-bodied, but it had for wheelchair users, for neurodiversity, textures, like all kinds of things. It went to market. They patented it. It sold out online last year for, during the holidays. And I got to be in New York Fashion Week wearing it. You know, innovations come from, oh, well, what if we developed this for every ability or made it more universal? So,
That's like your pretty woman moment, like when
yeah,
she goes,
totally.
she's like, big mistake, huge.
Huge mistake.
Yeah.
Big. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's the fun I'm having right now is kind of showing up with the power of the path, and like to your point, what you said, I show up very empathetic. I understand that people don't understand these things because we're taught when we're young to look away from disability, like we shush
Don't
our
stare.
kids.
Yeah.
Don't ask, don't stare. And, I was shopping the other day. Here's a good example of that. And there was a 3-year-old with her mom, and we're shopping down the same aisle. And I'm looking through clothes, and the mom is too. The mom didn't even know I was there yet. But this little girl, she's about my size because I'm sitting in my chair. And we're like having a conversation with our eyes and smiling. We're vibing each other, doing the whole thing. And her mom at some point catches me out of her eye. She flinches and she goes, "Watch out. She's going to roll you over." And the little girl retreated behind her legs and was instantly in fear. And so it shifted. It shifted the narrative right then and there to
Yeah.
we're engaging, we're like to fear of a wheelchair. And that's what we do so naturally because it's been through millennia in our culture. That's bad. Like disability used to be, like looked at years ago, like you're possessed, like this is a really bad thing. But what it really is it's part of being alive, And so I'm trying to shift that because if we
Yeah.
don't create that narrative, and it's hard, we're taught that. We're taught,
Yes.
shh, don't ask. I had a little boy one time point at me and go, at the grocery store, "Mom, I want that for Christmas." And he's pointing at my wheelchair. She's like, shh. She was so mortified.
Yeah.
It was just like thinking it was cool,
Yeah.
And Elle is a perfect example. Like she'll get in my wheelchairs and she'll just be like, "Look at how pretty my wheel is." And she's, if we allow our children to navigate differences, whatever it is, just authentically, they take that away, that richness away, that openness, and they carry it into their lives,
Yeah.
And so, but we have to fight what we've been taught as adults, when we were little and our moms were and parents and, and I'm not blaming anyone, but it's this cultural thing that we need to start to go, yeah, go ask her.
Well, that
Go
fear, discomfort is a learned behavior.
100%.
I don't want to feel uncomfortable by asking this disabled person what's wrong or this or that. And that's a learned behavior that needs to be broken. Like, I don't know, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but if somebody asks why you're in a wheelchair, what your disability is, I don't think you're going to be offended. Like
No.
the
And
world's probably thrown enough shit at you and you're like, okay, like I just can't imagine that somebody saying anything would be offensive to you.
No, and I think as long as you're saying it respectfully, like
Yeah.
it's one thing to go like, "Hey, what's wrong with you?" That's not good, but it's another thing to go like, "Hey, I'm Natalie. What's your name? Tell me about
Yes.
you."
Yeah.
Like I want to learn about you. Like, wow, I'm so happy our paths just crossed, like and to open up like real conversations that aren't just like, "Hey, what's wrong with you?" but more like, because I've had that too, like all my life. "What's wrong with you?" And I go, "I don't know. Nothing's wrong with me. What do you mean? What's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
Like, but it could be like, let's have a discussion, or gosh, your life looks very interesting. I've been trying to learn more. Is there something that you can share with me? Like leaning into a conversation that is more human, and not just so like isolating to point out what is different,
Yeah.
So
In regards to the woman and the little girl, it would have been proper for her to just say, "Hey, how are you doing?" As
Definitely.
opposed to like shoving off her daughter to think she should be in fear of your wheelchair, like you're going to violently roll her down because she's by you.
Yeah, and that scenario has happened my whole life too, and I used to just go like, "Oh," roll my eyes and go, 'cause the reality is I am so proficient with my wheelchair, I could be a half of an inch away from you, and I will not get you. Like, I know where it's no different than you putting on a pair of shoes and almost stepping on somebody's toe. Like, it really
Yeah.
very proficient. And I used to just let it go, but I said to her very politely, "Ma'am, like, first of all, I'm very proficient with my wheelchair. I would never run over your daughter. But
Yeah.
2, and more importantly, you just created fear for her."
Yeah. Shame on
And
you.
we were engaging in a very beautiful way. And the mom stopped and she goes, "Thank you for saying that. Like, you're right." And so the beautiful part about that is not being afraid to like engage with each other and go, "You know what? Like, that probably could have been handled a little bit better. Let me help you." But we're getting there with communication. And again, like from that empathy standpoint, we have to be able to allow each other to make mistakes and move on and do better the next time. So I understand people don't know what they don't know, and that we were taught um, to look at disability and fear it instead of navigate it. So,
Yeah.
and that's something I'm trying to change, honestly.
Well, and I think that's exactly what you're doing. That's exactly what's happening. What do you have in the plans for 2026? Like what's your next step?
This year, I'm trying to really be very intentional and focused on a few things, not a million things. I'm really, really focused on, I'm always focused on speaking, but I'm really, really focused on speaking. I just wrote a new speech called Own It, Embrace, Elevate, and Empower. And it's a women empowerment speech. And also, it has some disability education in it, but it's a very like, it's a love letter to myself about finally like embracing who I am, elevating it into the world and empowering other people along the way. And so I'm really focused on booking that out. I'm creating with Regina actually a community group that is surrounding these themes. So I'm working on launching that right now. Just I have a lot of women going, "How are you doing what you're doing? Like, can you
Yeah.
teach me like how are you scaling? How are you selling stages? How did you do this?" And I honestly don't have time. Like the one-off conversations have gotten to be a lot for me. So I'm trying to like create something that I can serve my community and also preserve my own space. So I'm
Yeah.
working on that. I'm really, really focused on my podcast. Like I want to somehow reach the top 1% of podcasting. Like we're getting to a really strong space with it going into year 3. And, podcasting's a lot of work. I don't know how
Yeah.
you feel about it, but it's such a beautiful, my podcast is it tells the most amazing stories of all these incredible people with these types of disabilities that you've never heard of doing these unbelievable things. And it's such a community that's being built. And I really want to elevate it. I'm just trying to give disability its regular, typical voice in popular culture to allow people to understand it better and being,
Yeah.
like motivated by really incredible people doing incredible things. So I'm focused on my podcast. I'm focused on speaking, and I've got a book deal swirling around a little bit that hopefully is going to close. So I've got some stuff, and that's it. Like I'm not chasing new products this year. I'm really trying to nurture what I've created and elevate it, expand it bigger. Because I want to be the Mel Robbins of disability like motivation. Like I want to be in stadiums. So
Yeah.
that's my dream. I don't know if I can actually get there, but so that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So if there's any
No, I
companies out there looking for a speaker, call me.
Yeah, I yes, for sure. We will definitely be plugging you. I actually did not that long ago to this event that
Oh,
I go to in Arizona, and they were like, "Send in, like who do you want to have as a keynote? Who do you want to speak?" And I
oh,
immediately tagged you in it. And I was like,
oh,
"You
thank
should call
you.
Alicia."
Cute.
Uh,
Thank you.
because I want to see everybody else win, and you are a topic expert in an industry I know nothing about. But I also
Oh,
want to be a speaker, and I also want to empower people and invoke change in the world for the positive. And so
Yeah.
that I understand completely.
Yeah.
And I myself is uneducated about anybody in, with disabilities, mentally, physically, whatever, other than my own mental disability. But, so it's something I want to spread awareness to, and it's something I'm interested in. And obviously, our connection with your sister asking you to come on was just a freaking no-brainer.
Oh.
You're doing what I want to do. So of course I want to work with people that I'm attracted to. I'm
Oh.
like, "Ooh, how did she get there? How did she do that?" or whatever. So your sister let me know a while back that you guys were chatting about this new business adventure, and she essentially did the same thing too. And she's starting her own, and it's just such a just such a treat to be around people such as yourself and be that ripple effect of just even this conversation. Like, I know the rest of my day, I'm going to feel just on a high from the conversations,
Oh. Well, you know what? That's mutual. Like you're you exude such a beautiful energy. And like I am really happy, number one, that our paths have crossed from like a woman to woman friend standpoint. But also like the work that you do is really important, and like let me help you. Like if you want to be a speaker and you want to be doing these things, like use me as a resource. Like we're friends, I'm happy to help you, like give you little tips or anything like that. I think you would be great on stages. If you're not doing it already, I don't even know, but like you're you definitely have this beautiful niche that you're doing, and there's a lot of opportunity out there. You just have to go get it. Like being a successful speaker is, there's a major sales process that goes on with this. It's a hustle every single day. Opportunities don't just come to me. I mean, a certain percentage do now, but you got to hustle that stuff and know who you are and what you're trying to give, and it comes. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to help you with that for sure.
Yeah,
Like,
it definitely is a hustle. Yeah, I was talking to a friend the other day, and she was thinking about quitting her career and starting a business, and she goes, "But I don't think I want to hustle." And I was like, "Oh, red flag."
yeah, that's a red
Like,
flag.
like, if you don't have that, like if that's hustling, you have to hit the ground running and do things that you might find cringy or embarrassing, and you have to sell yourself constantly
Yeah.
because nobody's going to believe in you as much as you do until a certain point. So if you
Yeah.
don't have that drive, that self-love, that self-knowing in you, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You can't make that up. You can't just manifest that. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
put yourself in a positive headspace, but the drive, the heartbeat of that has to just come because that is owning a business.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
starting one from the ground up. My husband has a business, and I'm like, God, he's smart. He just bought a well-oiled machine. Nothing really changed. And I'm like, man, I'm trying to like completely start over, ground up and go, but I don't know any other way. That is how I succeed.
Yeah. And you're gonna do it. You're just
Yeah.
like, you have to have the mindset though. You're
Mhm.
totally right. And the hustle for it. So I can't wait to see where your business goes.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I will definitely utilize you because I'm speaking
Oh,
next month.
good.
So yeah.
Congratulations. Amazing.
Yeah, it's just a women's like a networking event. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes, I'm very excited about it. So I just fully believe if you believe in it and if you want it and you work hard, it's going to happen for
Oh,
both of us.
yes. For sure.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on, Alycia. I appreciate you in so many ways and look forward to watching you in the future, working with you in the future. And where can people find you if they want to be part of?
Yeah. You can find me on my website, AlyciaAnderson.com, Alycia Anderson with an O.com. I'm all over social media. My main platforms are Instagram. My handle is Alycia Speaking. And then also I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. If you're like a business out there looking for content, and you can find me under my name there. And I'm trying to grow TikTok, but social media is like, I got a
Yeah.
love-hate relationship with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I have I have Instagram and TikTok is good for like People want to go there for solutions like recipes or how you do this, how-tos.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like Instagram is more for like a shared experience.
Yeah. Right.
You know, like I'll post videos about my hair on TikTok and they blow up versus
Oh, that's
Instagram.
amazing.
That like only 1,000 people saw this video.
Mm.
But on TikTok, there's like 50 questions because people want to know, you know, how you did this is what I feel like
I
TikTok
love
is for.
it.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
and I could see why your hair is so beautiful. I don't know if I'm following you on TikTok. Now I gotta go look. I love this.
Yeah, we'll have to find each other for sure. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on. And I want to see you in the future at some point for sure. Yeah.